We've been doing movie nights for
years.
So Gen Xer and
A Gen Z. Random weird moments that the two of us have experienced, and there are a lot of those.
And he crashes them.
As you do.
It's like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, where did this come from? Why are we singing?
I mean, you're not going to learn anything about the movies listening to us talk.
This is the Argo City Podcast. Film, conventions, and fan life with Maddie and Matthew.
And we have returned.
And we have returned from snowy, cold Oberlin in Ohio. So
it was so cold.
This last weekend we did an event up at the Apollo.
We went to another Heckle Vision. Oh my gosh, we went to go and see Planet 9, and we went to go and see this one as well, and it was lots of fun.
We did Planet 9 from Outer Space in October, which was like their first Heckle Vision. And so what Heckle Vision is basically they will show a terrible, terrible film, probably a public domain one, invite everybody in, and encourage everybody to yell back at the screen, Mystery Science Theater style, throw popcorn, and just, it's a party. That's all it is.
Everybody's just having a great time bouncing off of each other. We were singing Christmas carols. It was wonderful.
So the movie didn't start correctly. The sound was wrong. I'm looking at it and yes, well, this is about as good as this one gets. And of course, they even bring in a horror host. They bring in Dale Kaye, who did Spook Show around these parts out of Amherst. I did a show a couple of times. He's an old friend, and I worked with him back in the Creepy Castle days. And he'll introduce a movie, drop sound effects into it, which is a real Cleveland horror host thing. And this time, since it's Christmas season, we did Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
I had no idea what I was getting myself into with this movie.
Well, I mean, you should. It's right there in the title, Santa Claus Conquering Martians.
Yeah, but Santa didn't conquer the Martians. Santa befriended the Martians. That's different. Well, I was expecting a full-out war with nukes, but that's not what I got.
So, it's Christmas time on Mars, and the Martian children are getting sad because there's no Santa Claus. And so the Martians decide to come to Earth to kidnap Santa Claus. Kidnap the Santa Claus. Throw him in. And then
I don't know the words.
And then they will make him do Santa Claus stuff on Mars, and because Earth has had him long enough. And hijinks ensue.
But there's no wonder. He's just pressing buttons all day.
Also, there's certain factions on Mars that don't agree with such frivolity, and so they're trying to sabotage the whole thing. They accidentally kidnap some children too, so the bad guys also want them dead.
Yeah,
and there's just it's an all-around feel-good film.
Sure.
I mean, eventually they come up with their own Santa Claus because the comic relief Droppo...
I kind of guessed that from the start. This is going to be their Santa.
Droppo becomes Santa Claus for Mars. And everybody's happy, and they wave goodbye tearfully, come back and kidnap us next year. And it's...
I almost wonder, what did their parents think was happening here?
It was the 60s. They were, the streetlights probably hadn't come on yet, so they probably hadn't even noticed yet.
They were gone for 2 days.
Well, this is in the public domain. You can find it on YouTube.
They had a guy in a robot suit that walked up and down the aisle.
That was fun too, right in the middle of it. So when the robot, actually before the robot in this movie shows on, somebody in a cardboard robot suit started wandering through.
He did
in front
the
of
robot
the screen.
In front of the screen. He was the best part. He stole the attention right away from the movie. It was amazing.
But Hecklevision has been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying this. And by the way, the fact that we have somebody wandering in through the theater while they're doing it, that's just making it even better. It's making it even more interactive.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're yelling it back at the screen. We're making fun of it the whole time when there aren't silly sound effects coming up. At one point, like a couple of the girls in the front are quoting the Princess Bride. Inconceivable, and then again, inconceivable, and I yelled back at them. I do not think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah, I was confused by that.
The crowd's just working back and forth with each other.
Like I said, I was singing Christmas carols with people. It was wonderful. The crowd really bounces off of each other, both in the way that the humor goes and adding on to each other's insults, even arguing with each other, which is really fun, honestly. We had no popcorn thrown today, but it was still fun.
But I'm so happy that they really are getting into the spirit of it, that it's still this interactive. This was the third one of these. They announced 3 of them this year. They even cut a little video promo for it. It's great stuff. And I'm glad. It's not like we filled the theater. It's a small theater, as it is. It's a small theater in a college town. And he must have gotten it before everybody went home for Christmas. And he was trying to do that for Halloween and Thanksgiving as well. So this is the third one. And it was still reasonably full. And people just... Actually, I think people got it more this time. They've had enough time to see, okay, that's what this is. We're going to come loaded for bear, and we're going to have fun with this. We're going to make fun of this.
Yeah, this event itself is always a lot of fun. We actually had the wrong time for this one.
We were coming out a little early, but we managed still. And so I did dress up for this one. I've actually always wanted to do one of the Martians from this. I keep meaning to, and I could not pull it together. So instead, we went as Santa Alf.
Yeah.
And
I wore regular clothes. And honestly, at this point, I'm so used to having a monster like trail behind me that the stares that people gave me on the street, they just don't faze me anymore. I'm just so used to it at this point.
The street is fun. It's like, all right, let's see if we can cause an accident.
No!
And Alf was well received there. Everybody thought it was
really
funny.
Was.
It was well. It's you know what? I think I got a better reaction to showing up as Alf than I would have if I'd actually shown up as one of the Martians.
Yeah.
If I'd actually painted myself green. No, that mask was good enough.
A lady gave you one of the free pizza coupons because you were dressed up.
So there's a few envelopes with coupons for a free slice of pizza at Lorenzo's. Hidden under the seats.
Yeah.
And so somebody got one. She just wondered, was like, you deserve this. I think you've earned this.
Yeah.
And I didn't stay in costume the whole time. I took the mask off during the movie because you wouldn't have been able to hear me otherwise.
True.
So tell me what you thought of this incomprehensible film from the 60s. From 1964, from like Mexico in 1964, I believe.
Genuinely, I don't really have words to describe it. It's all over the place.
It is kind of all over the place. We're using like off the shelf toy guns for the alien weapons. They actually would make that popping sound. They wouldn't actually freeze people, but you know.
I wish there was more Mrs. Claus in this. She gets dunked on so much in this movie.
Mrs. Claus is a little bit of a nag. I don't know. She's
waving her finger. Trying to make sure things get done. I mean, I appreciate that it's like very somewhat small sets. Like the workshop has 6 elves. That's it.
The workshop looks good, though. The workshop looks...
does.
In fact, the whole North Pole set, actually, I mean, it's a set, it's inside, but it looks really interesting. Santa is very good on it. Drapo is sufficiently annoying and humorous as, like, the incompetent Martian.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, too. You were looking at the costumes. The real problem with these costumes is I need to make one of the helmets. And these helmets there's hoses and antenna and all sorts of stuff. I did get around to making a crest. So I had like a green top on, like the Martians in this, and one of these little Superman shield looking crests. Actually,
Yeah.
and it feels a little bit like that to me. Like the different shields we see on Krypton when we see various Superman things.
Yeah.
But you noticed something about those too.
Oh, yeah. I noticed, I think we've seen maybe 2 female Martians in this, like, entire thing. And I noticed that they have, well, the female symbol on their crest.
They hid that into that one. I mean, every crest is different. Every one of them has different symbols on it. That was a cute little way of just throwing a nod in there. Did you notice anything about the names?
No.
Because they would talk to each other. Our lead Martian is Kimar, and his wife is Momar, and then their children is Bimar and Gurmar, and
Really?
I see the light bulbs slowly starting to come on.
Why would they? That's so weird.
No, but because
do all families just have their names rhyme with their families?
Not exactly, but see, here's the thing. You notice it especially with the kids. So there's a boy Martian and a girl Martian. That way they've got an equivalent.
They have parallels.
Yes, with the boy and the girl from Earth. But the boy Martian is Bimar and the girl Martian is Gurmar.
Gurmar.
Yeah. Take it.
No, I just got it.
Yep. Separate them out. It's boy Martian
I got it.
and girl Martian. All right, let's go over to Momar.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, why would they do that?
So, yes, we have Mom Martian. Now, I think Kimar might be King Martian.
King Martian.
And it's one of those things where it's like, now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. I can't unhear it.
Why would they do that?
I mean, some of them have normal names like Drapo. But,
Who names their kid Drapo?
Somebody who wants their child to grow up to be Martian Santa Claus. At this point, we've kind of gone completely off the rails. That's where this goes. That's what it is.
You have shown me so much sci-fi crap that the names don't faze me anymore. This is not my fault.
You're not looking for them.
I'm not looking for reasons in the names. I've read so many fantasy series that you can't even pronounce half the names. Like,
so,
dude,
and I think this was the perfect way to introduce you to this movie.
The pills were cool for the food.
Oh yes, food and pills instead of food. Yes,
that would be horrifying to me. But I also, how do the calories work then? If it's like in a pill,
I know because Drapo's trying to gain weight, and
he's
trying.
Not. Is it like
you can't just chug pill? I mean, you're going to overdose. You're not going to gain weight.
Oh my god, no! Oh, dude, you're going to get us
You're going
demonetized.
to need your stomach pumped.
No, but if it's like pills, like obviously how are you going to gain weight? Like I appreciate if they're able to do that, like with the taste and stuff, kind of like in like Star Trek where it's not like as many calories.
Mm-hmm.
But like
it's
here's your pill, Sally. Like why?
You're best off not thinking too hard about it. Just like it's
depressing.
You're best off not thinking about the fact that their spaceship is made out of wood.
Yeah,
or how they escape from the airlock because there's a vent or a tube, and well, Santa Claus can get through a chimney. He can get through that. It's
sweetheart.
But it's also just so much fun. Just that it's so bizarre.
This is a crack
and
film.
lunatic.
The person that was making this was high, and they decided this would be a good idea.
It was the 60s, but it's like I said. I think this was the perfect way to introduce you to this.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of one of those things that you need to have seen it. You need to know what this is.
I've heard you talk about this, and I've heard other people at cons specifically talk about this, and it's like, You know what? I might as well. I mean, it's just another one to add on with Santa Jaws.
Yeah. Yes, it is. No, Santa Jaws is a real movie. You should look it up. It's excellent. It's actually far better than it deserves to be.
That it is way better than it should be.
So
I loved confusing my counselors with that mid-panic attack. That was a funny time.
we do silly and weird Christmas. I mean, look, Mom does normal Christmas movies. She's all about Christmas Vacation. The next day, we went to see Christmas Story in the theater. Although, I will just point out, like, at the end of A Christmas Story, when the kids are, like, knocked out after opening their presents, and you look up in the top right-hand corner of the screen, one of the presents that they got for that Christmas was a full-head rubber Frankenstein mask.
Oh, okay.
And we saw that in a glorious big screen the next day. So.
Oh, okay.
This is also another nice chance to just kind of stroll through Oberlin. It was much nicer to do that in October than it was in December.
It was cold.
But you immediately found a gigantic Christmas tree.
I did. It was so pretty. I heard voices in the Christmas tree, and there were people inside of it. I don't know how they got inside of it because I walked around the tree, like 3/4 of it, trying to figure out where they got inside. So I'm a little confused about that.
I think I heard voices from the Christmas tree is perfectly par for the course for this particular show. That's really not all the...
I heard voices in the Christmas tree. Somebody make a song like that. Like,
yeah, we're going to have to isolate that sound bite.
The Christmas tree.
We also... This is our Christmas episode. We really intended to take 2 weeks off, but we're late in getting this episode out. So you get one more, but we will be off for a week and a half or so because nobody's
New Year's.
Christmas and New Year's. So we're taking some time to kind of catch up. One of the other things we need to catch up on, though, is Demon Hunter. Infinity Castle came out.
That's right! We did! And we watched it finally. We finally got... Oh, I was so excited. We had just managed to finish the anime, and it was actually going to be my takeover week, but I was like, okay, you know what, we're going to switch one of these out because I really want you to see this movie. And it wasn't out yet. I thought it was out, but it wasn't. So I found like a less than legal version of it, which was like a recording of the screen. It was slightly dark, but it still worked.
We still got the impression. We'll still...
Yes.
And, once it hits Crunchyroll, we're still probably going to watch it again and again anyhow.
Yes. Tell me your thoughts.
I expected a resolution, and the ending is not a resolution.
It's not. We're supposed to get 3 of these over the next, 5 years.
That bothers me, too, because I worry about them running out of momentum. Because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of balls in the air. They left a lot of balls in the air.
And the manga is over, so we can't really just... Well, we can figure out what happened via the manga, but the manga's done.
So, and because we're that close to the end... And because we're basically into the movies and slow walking the end of it, it does mean kind of anything goes. Anybody can die. And kind of does.
Yeah, when I went to go and see the Infinity Castle movie, I had my... Well, spoilers. I had my Shinobu bow on because it's the only bow I had at the time, and I wore it. I was sad and depressed. And when I went into work the next day, I was also wearing the same bow. And one of my coworkers, who had seen the movie before I had, was like, "Oh, you must have gone through some crap." And I'm like, yeah. It was sad.
Well, it's... And Demon Slayer is always a little bit gory. And it kind of falls under, the umbrella of... I don't generally eat during horror movies or Demon Slayer.
Yeah, You made me, rearrange my stuff for it as well.
I would like it to be at the beginning instead of at the end so that I'm not eating dinner at 9 o'clock. And the movies are the movie is just as disturbing, if not more, in certain ways. It's not just about murder. It's, we're absorbing characters.
Like Doma and his whole.
It's rough. It's rough stuff.
Yeah.
There's elements too where they're trying to map it out in real time. I don't know how you map out something like this that is three-dimensional and constantly shifting.
That's literally my favorite part, is seeing them actually physically painting it out. You have the three siblings just sitting there via the eyes of the crows, and all these other people, they're just grabbing the pictures and putting them on the floor and mapping the whole thing out. It's fascinating to me.
It is, and it makes sense in a certain way. Just the chaos of it. In some ways, it reminds me a lot of an old sci-fi thriller called Cube, where people are trapped in a huge maze, and it continually shifts, continually rearranges itself.
Yeah, I've seen a how to beat of that one.
And it's a similar idea. It's got that from an overview, from an outside view, it feels a little bit like that to me. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the labyrinthian style and layout, for me, this is very reminiscent of Hellraiser 2.
Yeah,
where
I was waiting for that.
Well, that's the thing. Hellraiser is a low-budget horror movie. It got a bump in that budget in the second one. So they're not just bringing demons through the cracks of the wall into Earth. No, they're taking us straight into what their vision of hell is. And it is this massive labyrinth. It's these endless stone corridors with pockets and corners of torment or of personal hells. And much like what we see in Infinity Castle, where you go into some of these rooms, some of these buildings, there's really similar patterns here. There's weird sounds all around you in the Infinity Castle. They do the same thing within Hell as far as strange sounds and music playing. The composer literally wrote into the score a sort of Morse code.
They put in that much effort to put in Morse code?
He did, because he's trying to Morse code God within there, because it bothered him that God was nowhere to be seen.
I mean, it's hell. Why would he be there?
Well, that it was so hopeless, and that there was just absolutely nothing. And so that's something that he slips in there, and it's just, again, one of those strange, faraway pipe sounds. All of it just matches, but the difference is merely cultural. Mm-hmm. It's wood and bamboo in Demon Slayer, as opposed to the endless stone and dirt, the more Western European vision. So that really is a lot of my impression of it, and then to see them just kind of falling into it. And it's almost the Slayers are almost mounting an invasion. An assault on a foreign land, a foreign territory.
See, that's the funny thing, because it's the opposite. This is the demons forming their assault on them. They're bringing them into their territory. We're going to kill you because we know we have the high ground here. We know this place.
It is, but they prepared for it though as well.
That's true.
So it was.
So they knew it was coming.
I know that the demons think that's what they're doing, and I don't think that's what's happening. I think that instead, this is a Trojan horse. This is, bring us in, because we... No, you haven't cornered us. We've cornered you.
Yeah, and, oh, man, I always forget her name, the lady with the mini guitar. Her controlling the eyes and watch, because she's been watching us for pretty much the entire season, leading up to this. watching her actively rearranging it, following Muzan's orders, and one of my favorite things in that movie particularly, and they mention it a couple times, is with our demon slayers, specifically the non-main character ones. They're like, we need to make sure we become stronger so that we can be the cannon fodder that you need to get you going through. Save your energy for the big ones. We've got this. And I also forget the other guy's name. The demon slayer that's been hanging out with Tandro a lot. I think that they've named him, but he's even in the intro sequence, and he actually takes quite a bit of stuff here. I love watching him yell at our resident medicine boy as he's trying to desperately heal. Like, watch my back. You need to have a better bedside manner. You're terrible at this. But while we're on the topic of Demon Slayer, looking over the entire series, just out of curiosity, I'm curious to see what's your favorite arc, and if you have any particular favorite characters.
I think I would still stick with the train arc just because it reminds me so much of Murder on the Orient Express or that sort of a story. So I think that's really where I would stick. I don't know if I have necessarily a favorite character, but I love the butterfly imagery that we get on the girls.
Yeah, with the butterfly mansion.
That's kind of where I'd go on that.
That's really fun.
For as big as this is, and as long as it's been going, I'm surprised there's not more. I feel like
there's like 7 seasons of this. What do you mean there's not more?
But we were able to race through that in a year and a half. It just I would expect. I don't know. It feels like there should be, 7 seasons of 40 episodes each or something like that. It feels like there should be more lore, a much deeper. I don't know. Especially now that we're at the end of it, it feels like we are. Like it went by very fast because we hit the train arc earlier this year, and that's.
We also did the movie and didn't go through the season, though.
We did, but still, that's a lot of ground to have covered. We'd started.
That's true.
We'd started Demon Slayer shortly before we started the podcast, so it's. I feel like I expected there to be even more than there was. I expected this to take longer. So now that we're at the end, I don't know. You saw that in the theater.
Yes, I did. It was wonderful.
We actually saw a lot of stuff in the theater this year. Do you realize how much we went to the theater?
Yeah, we...
I mean, it's not like intentional or anything, but man, we did.
I mean, we see an opportunity and we take it. So
yes, and we did a lot in the theater this year. We did all of our summer blockbusters, all the stuff that we wanted to see.
Yeah,
we did Superman. We did
Lilo and
How to Train
Stitch,
Your Dragon,
How to Train Your Dragon,
and Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
We did all of that in the theater. We've done some weird theater stuff too, with like
Castle in the Sky. We went and we saw. Let's see. It was
Castle in the Sky is at the Case Western Film Society, which we'll talk about a little bit more as in later episodes. But so we've gone to some weird theaters too. We've gone to like that, and we've gone to do Hecklevision at the Apollo.
Yeah.
But it still counts. It's all still part of it. So yeah, we did Thunderbolts right at the beginning of the year.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. So we did It's been nice too. It's been nice to get back to the movie theater to see some of this stuff and to do some of this stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've gone to the theater quite a lot the last couple of years, which it's been nice to kind of return to that after COVID essentially killed it.
I don't even know if it's that. It's just we haven't had enough to go see, or we haven't.
There hasn't been anything good released.
So we actually did a lot of movies this year all around. I handed you a list.
Yes,
and the list was much, much longer, I think, than what you expected it to be.
No,
we don't think about it because we just do it. We've
been doing movie nights for years now, and it's like I don't compare it to how many we've actually podcasted.
Right, and you don't think about the fact that, okay, we're doing 50 a year at least.
Yeah.
And so we did a lot of stuff this year. And you can tell, like, there's a lot of differences between what you pick and what I pick. Then again, sometimes there's not. Because, I mean, Train to Busan, that was on your list.
We have
that wasn't on mine.
We have a mutual love of zombies. So that's certainly something there.
Out of, like, the list of stuff I did that was in my list, what did you like the best? What spoke to you?
I have stuff down, and a couple of it's going to be, like, zombie movies. But I particularly loved Shaun of the Dead. That was one I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did, but it was the chaos that I adored. I really loved Ready Player One. That one, the whole video game-esque to that. And even though we split that one into 2 points, which made things a bit harder, it was, I don't know. I'm a big sucker for video game-esque stuff when they do it right. It's one of those reasons why with a lot of animes I can't stand it unless they do it right.
See, now, I read the book.
They do it right.
Yeah, I read the book. I happened to have a copy of the movie just because it was one of those that went on sale at the Dollar Tree. But that was one I was actually really excited to do with you because I'd read the book and I knew that the source material was really good, and I was reasonably certain that the movie was following it as well as it could. The movie got away with some visual pop culture that you can't do in a book.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun to go through.
And I think the third one, the one I actually was most surprised by, was Idea Man.
Okay.
I'm kind of iffy when it comes to the Muppets. I don't have as much of a love for it as you do, but I also grew up watching a lot of the Muppets, and I grew up watching the Rockies, I forget what they call it, and seeing the behind the scenes and seeing how all of that came to light was just fascinating to me.
It really gives you a greater appreciation for what they did and how that came together and what it really is. Because I think in my generation, it's like you either love it or you dismiss it as just kid stuff. And I think the people that dismiss it as kid stuff are wrong. Yeah. But I think they're also misinformed or they're just misremembering. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it was also just such a really well done documentary. And it's one that I once I saw it, I actually really wanted to be able to share that with you, especially since we've done a few of them.
I adore my chef. He is the best. No other character can compare. And
next year, sometime this year coming up, we may just take another trip out to the Apollo because they're going to be screening the Muppet movie on the big screen. And it's one thing to see that here. It's another to see it on the big screen. Yeah. What about your favorite of my movies? I think the one that I liked the best really is Suzume. Really? There's a weirdness to it, and it's the kind of fantasy that I enjoy because it is fantasy that encroaches upon a modern setting. So, if we talk about, like, my favorite fantasy series is Roger Zelazny's Chronicles of Amber. Yeah. And it starts with a guy in the hospital. It starts with a guy laying in a hospital bed, doesn't know who he is, and he has to reconstruct the fact that he's this extra-dimensional prince out of nothing. So, it's why Harry Potter works for me. It's why the Chronicles of Narnia work for me. Because it's all fantasy that encroaches upon the modern world and then draws back or throws you into it. That's so interesting because a lot of the times I'm literally the opposite. I don't like the fantasy stuff in a, like, real world setting. If I'm going to be fantasy, it's going to be full on fantasy. I read fantasy to get away from the real world. I don't know. Those things, that's where it draws me. I think I was also surprised by how good the Maze Runner stuff was. Yeah, those were really good. I'd written that off as Well, I'd written it off and thrown it kind of in the same category as the Hunger Games, and I don't care for the Hunger Games. It's just it's not my thing, and I read the books, and I didn't like them, but I read the books because I still believe in reading books that I don't like, so that I know things.
Yeah.
That's a very Ravenclaw thing to say, but it is the way that I am.
That's kind of the way with Lydia right now. She's reading through the Harry Potter books right now, and I'm like, stop watching the movies without me. I will sit with you and watch the movies with you. But she just keeps doing it without me. Cries a sad tear.
The last couple of weeks, I've actually been rerunning old lost podcasts, mostly con stuff, because we were testing the waters, trying to figure out the mic, trying to figure out podcasting. And so some of our con experiences and our con talk didn't really make it in early on. And so, you bank it and put it out when you need to.
Yeah.
So let's do a quickie con roundup as well, because we've talked about some of them. We haven't talked about some of them. And you and I did about, I think, eight or so this year.
Really?
My list was ZipCon and GeekFest and Neo. We also did that weird little Garford Art Fest.
That was fun. Fantasticon.
We did the Anime Fest Film Festival. We might have talked a little bit about that. Yeah,
we did like the Sweets and Geeks one at the mall, which
and
was
then we just came back from Genghis Con, which is a small press zine and comics with an X.
Very fun.
Show. So for me, I think one of the most interesting ones was Garford Art Fest. So
really?
Garford Art Fest is...
Yeah, this was the one I dragged him out to after work.
Well, it's like I knew about it. We talked about it. I wasn't feeling it, but I'm glad we went. And we did podcast a little bit. But, I mean, it's in our backyard. It's in the city we live in.
It's right down the road.
And it's in a hidden alley that I've never seen before. I've lived in this area for 50 years, and I've never found that alley before.
Yeah.
And so it does appeal in that whole... See, Genghis Khan had some of this too, where it's like it just keeps opening up and going.
It just keeps
and
more
going.
and more and more. And how many of these doors have I not walked into already?
Right, and you turn a corner and there's more. And it's just, that's magic.
Yeah.
I felt like that the first weekend that I went to, we have a thing in downtown Cleveland called Third Fridays. It's at the 78th Street Studios. And so the 78th Street Studios, it's just a collective. Each room, each part of this 4-story building, a different artist rents this corner or this room or this suite. And then once a month, it's open house. Let's go see what everybody's made. And then and as I'm walking through it, this is amazing. And then upstairs, back in those early days, there was pinball going on in the top room. And then I could hear stuff going on from downstairs, and like, do I really want to wander into the creepy basement of this decrepit building?
Yes, the answer is yes.
And it opens up into this amazing bazaar of vendors and crafts and art and music going on in the middle of it, a 4-piece quartet, or maybe just one guy with a guitar, or and so I love that kind of stuff. And Garford especially just had that feeling to me. We looked up and there's a band playing on the top of the roof and stuff like that.
I honestly, a lot of my favorite moments usually come from the anime conventions, just because those are my favorites. ZipCon particularly. It was actually me bringing my friend for the first time to her first convention.
And us risking life and limb to get there.
Yeah, it was like a snowstorm. But it was so much fun. I ended up going to a panel, which was like a My Hero Q&A panel, and I got a rock. And that rock sits on my shelf to this day. And it is my favorite memory of this entire year. I was also just really happy with how much my characters got recognized this year. With my Hanji being built for most of my anime conventions this year. Although a lot of times people didn't know the specific character I was doing, for Neo Comic Con, for example, I had a group of 2 kids run over to me and was like, "Oh my god, are you from like AOT?" And I'm like, yes. And they didn't know what that meant. Their dad came and talked to me later saying, "Oh yeah, they wanted to get a picture of you because they know I like the symbol, so they did that and had me get a picture." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so sweet." But I got a lot more interaction with people this year, which was a lot of fun.
Well, you did a lot more mainstream stuff too.
That's also true.
And it's interesting because we're kind of reversing roles in that at this point. Whereas you're doing stuff that's more recognizable, more mainstream, and I am just going
insane,
kind of wild. So like ZipCon, it's the Grinch. Well,
yeah.
It's close enough that it was the Grinch that stole Valentine's Day. And I'm running around shooting arrows at people.
Yeah, because of course you are.
Or I think 3 different times this year, I brought out Alf as Green Lantern.
Yeah, that one was always a lot of fun.
It really is, because especially like the people who get it love it, and then they're telling their kids who just like the big fluffy guy, but then they're explaining what he is, and that's just as much fun to see.
Segue them into watching it.
I was happy that when I did Sweets and Geeks, they recognized it was Tony Stark.
Yeah.
It's just Tony Stark in Tony Stark gear. My Iron Man armor had a failure, and I forgot part of it. That's why it had a failure. So not around to do that, and it just ended up being just Tony Stark that day. But it still worked. It was still fun.
Yeah. The people this time around were so fun.
And I since I'm not competing, it's like I felt like I had the option to change out of it too. So a lot of these, I'm just doing the costume maybe half the day, and that's a sort of liberating thing as well. But it's also different. It's not what I'm used to. I went to a couple without you. I went to Great Lakes with my friend Mike.
Yeah.
It's like his first big Comic-Con, and again, just a whole lot of fun. I brought a couple comics for certain people to sign. I handed one over to one of the guys, and he signed it, and he's loving it, and then noticing, well, wait, you got the, oh, I love that one. I'm like, yes, but can only afford to get one today. He's like, no, give it to me. I got a couple of those kind of interactions, and that's always, it just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Because you can see they're there for
the fans.
Yeah, just the entire reason we went to Hall of Fame. We didn't even talk about Hall of Fame, and I brought out my favorite Doctor Who. I went to that for Fabian Nicieza, or nobody knows how to pronounce his name, not even the announcer.
Oh, poor guy.
He was making fun of the announcer on the loudspeaker. It's like, I've never heard that version. And he's looking at the comics I'm bringing him. He's signing for free. It's like, look at these beat up, well-read comics.
Aww.
And just great. We had really good interactions with the people that we talked to this year and that we got to meet this year. And it was a nice year. How's convention life different for you now? Because last week we did the convention episodes. So about you growing up going to conventions and you being a child at conventions, and like you going since you were way tiny.
Little, and then half the time having to explain, no, I'm not dragging him to these places. He's dragging me to these places.
And your sister went in the early days too. I took full advantage of that. We had a full Fantastic Four. That was 1 year.
So great.
So all that kind of stuff. How is it different now? I mean, especially this year. Okay, you're grown up. You're in college. You've got a job. You actually have more money to spend than just like the con allowance that I would hand you guys.
There's a couple there's a few main differences. Like, first of all, I have a lot more freedom on where I can go. For a while, it was like, I'm always by your side, or I always have to be within eyesight. But at this point, half the time when we walk in, I ditch you and I go off to my first panel. Which is like, oh, it feels so bad saying that out loud. But I had the opportunity to overschedule everything. Because even if I don't usually follow the schedule, I overschedule everything.
Well, and that's something that I've kind of encouraged you to do. I'm like, okay, so this is a list. This is a schedule. Look and figure out what you want to do. That's not something that you were doing when you were a kid.
No.
When you were a kid, it was a lot of, let's go through, let's see these people, take pictures, and go shopping, and maybe sit with Dad as he's listening to half a panel. Now, and especially with our focus has always been on more programming-based cons than just shopping-based ones.
I more so enjoy those.
Well, and I think that's one of those differences too. You're old enough to enjoy that stuff and to get into it.
I mean, literally, it's, oh man, I can never remember the name of it. I think it's Geek Fest. Geek Fest is so panel based.
Yeah.
And I love it every year. Half the time I'm like always a little bit late to no, I think for the last 3 years I've had to do my prejudging early so that I don't have to leave a panel right before the costume contest, which is definitely saying something, but they have like the best panels there. I love just getting to sit there and listen. And like if we're talking like also differences, it's the difference between needing to schedule these conventions into my schedule now because I work and I'm in college, and most of the times on weekends I'm scheduled for the morning because nobody wants to work on weekends.
Weekends are not automatically off anymore like they used to be. It used to be I could count on it, and okay, so if you want to come, let's go. If not, well, I know your weekends are free and available. They're not anymore, so we've got to actually plan on them.
Yeah.
It has to be intentional.
Yeah, like, I have to give notice 2 weeks in advance, and even usually then I usually have the list so I can just put them all in all at once. My work loves that I do that, by the way. They love that I just put everything in right away, because it's like I'm not stressing them out.
And we usually try and do that. I'll like schedule out the first half of the year as they get announced. So by end of January, we kind of know a lot of what our year is going to look like.
Yeah.
And what we can pick and choose, what we want to do, what we don't want to do.
Yeah, and I mean, aside from like kind of going off on my own, having more money to actually spend on more stuff that I'd really like to, see or do, I think it's really just those two main differences. I mean, one of the first things I said when I first got my car is that it gives me a freedom to kind of go where I want when I want, and I noticed especially as I got older that's what ended up happening. But I can't really think of any other differences, to be honest.
I think there's a difference in focus too, because we're looking at anime cons and stuff that you might be more into, or specific kinds of conventions for you to try or look into.
Like with the Genghis Con.
Yeah. And just in general. Like that's the entire reason we continue to go to ZipCon. That's one that you like and it works for you. I think we'd be going to Geek Fest anyhow because it just gets better every year.
It really does.
We made tea this year.
We made loose leaf tea. It was wonderful.
I still need to get you into the sword fighting demonstration one of these years.
I keep missing it every year because a panel of mine confides with it.
But there's also stuff, like the Garford Art Fest, that's different and new. Next year we're talking about Concoction, because I've been going to Concoction forever, and again, it's Mike went with me to Concoction this year too, and just absolutely loved it, just because of all the panels, all the weird panels, all the interesting things that happen. And you've kind of been seeing that, especially the last couple of years. I will text you stuff. I'll text you when the greenies are on. I'll stream.
He texted me when they were having an Epic the Musical karaoke. I was so upset.
The Princess Tea Party, or Yeah, the Disney Tea Party. Not just princesses, because Night Mage was there and he was Gaston.
Yeah, well,
There were princes, too.
Gaston is a princess at heart.
And, where they'd have foods from each character's back. So Moana had Hawaiian food, and Belle and Gaston had French food. And I forget what it was that Ursula was doing, but there was a reason for it.
Okay.
So you see stuff in concoction that you don't see anywhere else.
And it's
that kind of continues.
And it's like I'm old enough to go now. I can. It's gonna be a doozy for it being such a long convention, since I tend to run out of steam after like 4 or 5 hours.
It probably will be the longest one you've ever been to.
But it'll be worth it though, because I'm old enough to appreciate it. It's panels. It's panels. I love panels.
It's nothing but panels. Yeah. We also talked about, you were actually going to go back to Anime Fest. Yeah. Anime Fest, that was interesting. You know what? I'm sure that's come up on my radar before, and I never made it out before, and we had a good reason this year.
Yeah, it's literally just a couple hours of pilot episodes and the occasional movie. And it was 2 days. I had actually bought the pass for both days, but I didn't end up going both days. But we both enjoyed it so much.
And Saturday would be interesting, too. I wonder if we have more people Saturday. Saturday, I bet it's a bigger costume day because they have a costume contest.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to discover new stuff. And like I said, we're focusing more on things that you might be interested in. And that's what a lot of this is all about. I think the other big thing, though, that I've seen change for you is you keep running into the same people.
I'm making friends. Well, I have one present.
You're making con friends.
I'm making acquaintances, like the one present that continues to propose to me every time I walk in the building.
And it really is a weird category of people, because this started happening to me a decade ago, maybe a little more, when I really started getting back into the convention scene, and I started running into the same people over and over again. But it's the weirdest thing. I only see them at these conventions. Some of them don't even live in the state. But I see them, once a year, twice a year at Cinema Wasteland, or I see them at every Comic-Con throughout the year, and you're kind of finding your way in. You're finding yourself into the community a little bit.
Yeah, I'm slowly making. I mean, generally, it's like at most conventions, especially the local ones, everybody knows who I am because they know you, and that's still the weirdest thing to me. But
yes, but those are my friends, and that's great to have.
Yeah, but
it's also one of the reasons why you've always been safe.
Yeah,
because of that, but you're also now finding your own community as well.
Yeah, it's been kind of nice to it's awkward because of the pretty big age difference, but it's been nice. We introduced my friend Lauren into the convention space, and she's involved with that group of teens a lot, and I'm so happy for her. And it's but I love that I'm slowly but surely making community in here, and I'm sure the more conventions that I attend, and the more I go out of my way to interact with older people. I literally went to a speed friendship thing where you literally just it was a speed dating thing. You sat and you talked to people for a minute, and it was wonderful. And it's okay, this is such a great idea. Why can't all cons do that?
I think the age difference isn't as big of a thing, especially with convention life and convention scene, because it's one of the things that struck me when I was a teenager, when I was 13, going to Star Trek conventions, and they were perfectly fine talking to me like an adult. And as long as I can hang in the conversation, then I can hang. So I think that age range doesn't matter quite as much, not as much as it would in the real world.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing. But it's also one of the things that we enjoy about con life and about the whole environment.
And I say this at almost every convention, or at least at every podcast. The fun of the conventions, even the fun of costume contests, it's not the convention itself. It's not the shopping. It's not the panels. It's the friends you make while you're waiting for the costume contest in line. It's the girls that you end up chatting with in the bathroom. It's the people that are helping you fix your wig and helping glue your giant props back on because they're falling apart. It's those interactions that you have with the community that really makes it special. And I think we're really lucky to have a really great community out here.
We really are, because especially Ohio's got an amazing comic community. We have a comic culture like no other. You just don't find it elsewhere. I've had friends tell me they envy our comic culture, our comic book community, and that applies to the fandom community. I mean, I'm literally this weekend. It'll be this weekend past now, but I'm literally heading out to the Cleveland hockey game, the Cleveland Monsters game. I will be Grinching there. I will be the Grinch all throughout the game, and then I'm getting out of the Grinch costume and heading to Carol and John's, to the local comic book shop, for the holiday Christmas party and art show. Who else has a regular? I mean, I've been going to this event for 20 years. Who else has a Christmas party at the comic shop? Not much less a full-on art show that's displaying a couple of my pieces. It's
insane.
We don't want to take this for granted.
No,
we don't want to take.
It's really hard to get the words out. And kind of funny how we're talking about how thankful we are for this, as this is being recorded in December. So
no, it's actually been quite a first year for the podcast.
Definitely.
And
for something we've been discussing for years now.
Yeah, it took a little longer to get the mic and then longer to get a groove. I hope that you're all I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're liking what you're hearing here. And I'm interested, looking forward to seeing what next year holds. So, with that, happy Christmas to everybody, and we will see you in 2026.
Bye!